Welcome to Dolly Talk. This is Dolly. How is everybody doing today? Mavka, Deli Talk, yes. Hope everybody can hear me okay. Today we are getting ready for the trial, and Lori Vallow, in her infinite wisdom, decided to do another interview. She has some concerns about the judicial system as a whole, the girls in jail, and what she's doing with her life. So we're going to watch that. And if we get to it, we might have another interview with Nate Eaton. So, oh, thank you. Potentially Criminal sent me. Great to have you here. Yeah, I'm getting ready to go on Monday to watch opening statements. Hopefully I get in, but I'll be going quite early. So before we get started, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Went the wrong way around, but I got it right. Hi.
Yes, you did. Thank you. How are you?
Good. It looks better with the hair flick, see?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted Hella here because it's going to be very interesting to get her opinion. Let's just say that. I've watched this interview a couple times today because in her defense, she raised some good points.
No, I just got treatment.
Oh? Well, did you go to Lori Vallow?
Sadly, no. I'm jealous of her hair. I'd quite like her hair. But I think it might be, what do you call it?
Prison quality?
No. It's got some sort of demons in it.
Oh. Medusa?
It might need to be exorcised.
Okay, so what are we doing here?
No.
So it's a fairly short interview. She's got her counsel there with her, or standby counsel. So there's a couple points where a couple parts where her counsel's like, maybe you shouldn't answer that, and they kind of go silent. It's kind of a puff piece. The person who interviews her doesn't exactly ask the hard-hitting questions that mope from, was it Dateline?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've read some reviews of this interview, and people are saying that it's a better interview, like they ask better questions.
I thought it was kind of... Well, she asked the questions. I just thought they weren't... Well, we'll get into that.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Because, Dateline is such a credible program.
Yeah. And this is just a local Arizona affiliate. So, AZ family.
We'll see.
Hi, Lori.
Aw, look at her.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Isn't she?
Yeah, she's a doll.
Good. And they got... Okay, well, we can see the mic up there, sweetie. To whoever's interviewing her. That's okay. We got the clock there so she knows what time it is. I'm just looking at the background, Nice place.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's part of the prison.
I'm sorry?
I'm pretty sure it's part of the prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's lovely.
Totally fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd like be on camera. My handwriting's really
No, you're
sloppy.
good. I've been so curious to talk to you for a long time.
How is the sound? Is it okay?
Cat, how's sound?
First and foremost, I want to ask you, why did you decide to represent yourself at this trial?
There's lots of reasons. Obviously, being pro per is not an easy job. I'm not an attorney. I do not have training to be an attorney.
Her and Dale Brooks would make a cute couple. Just saying.
There's something that I figured out when I got to this jail. This experience has been 5 years running, okay? I went through a whole trial, before in my other state, and then I was brought here to Arizona to face some more serious charges. And I came
I like, I've got some trial work under my belt.
here with the intention of having a speedy trial, right? I wanted to, these charges came first, right? So they're like 5 years old. So I, first talked to the attorneys. I was like, they've had 5 years, the prosecutors, to put their case together, and I really want to go to trial. Like, we need to go. So I'm in a max pod, with the max women, and there's about 8 women in my pod facing death penalty. And, I was facing.
Now, I don't know if you guys have heard Nick talk about her at all, but one of the things Nick has said is that Nick Starro.
I didn't know he was
has
following
said-
this.
I'm sorry?
I didn't know he was following this.
A little bit.
Okay.
And he said that she's more dangerous in prison.
Oh, lots of people have said that.
Yeah. Okay. So with that in mind, this part to me is kind of interesting.
Why?
She seems to be kind of a mother to them, mentoring them in a position to manipulate them, I guess.
Well, I mean, if they're on death row, big deal.
Well, true.
It's not like they're getting out and they're
in
going to
Idaho. I was the only one in
start
that jail because it's a very
exorcising
small town and a small jail. But here, these women have been waiting for their trials for 5, 6, 7, 8 years to go to trial in a jail. Okay.
Oh boy, it's starting to sound like hella here.
What?
No, I'm just saying she and you have a lot in common when it comes to jail rights.
What?
And then during this experience, I've been in
Talking about?
4 different facilities during this experience, right? Because I've been shuffled all over the country, right? Came from Hawaii to Idaho to Boise, back and forth. So I've experienced 5 different facilities now. This is the 5th facility I've been in, and it
Poor
is
thing.
the worst.
What exactly about the conditions bothers you the most? Because, every
Well, there's this weirdo named Dolly. He's kind of down the street. It's a little creepy. Plus, it's Arizona, so they got that going for them.
everyone's going to say, what did you expect?
Sorry, I
You've been
missed it. Did she
convicted
say
of
that this is the worst
multiple
facility she's been in? Oh, sorry. I was just
yes.
thinking what a dickhead you are.
Apparently,
and-
it's the worst in the country.
Right. Okay.
Now, I think there's a few in Atlanta that might disagree, but what do I know? I've never been there.
Right. Suffer.
Yeah.
murders. So what were you expecting in this jail?
Well, the people that are in this jail haven't been convicted of anything, that are in the same exact
Like-
situation.
Like grody. Like totally innocent. Does she want to be closer to Chad? Oh, I'm sure. They're still together at least, so there's that.
They know they're going to be together in the afterlife, you see, so they're fine.
Yeah.
As I am. They're innocent. They're innocent right now, and they've been here for 5, 6, 7, 8 years eating slop every day, the same thing, every single day, not going out in the sunshine, not having proper medical care, not
No sunshine? Poor things can't get vitamin D.
having proper.
She is right. I mean, the conditions in jail should be a lot better, but it's just kind of funny to see Lori Vallow being the one to kind of crusade this in this interview.
Prison conditions should be better. I agree. Like, it's not fine to just put people, human beings, into a hole for 23 hours a day.
Well, in jail's even worse, so.
And jails. yeah, it's not okay to just throw them away
Yeah.
as human beings and feed them rubbish and put them in with insects
Yeah.
and just it's not. How is that of any use to society? It's not. We're humans. We're supposed to treat other
Yeah.
humans as humans. And it doesn't matter what they did. It doesn't sit with me. So yeah,
There's a point.
it just seems like retribution, and
Yeah.
retribution is not what the prison system's supposed to be about. I thought anyway.
In theory.
So
Dental, if something goes wrong with your teeth, you know what the dentist will do from jail? They pull your tooth out. That's it.
So you're fighting for the other inmates here who are
Fun for their smiles. Their pearly whites.
waiting for their time in court.
This is what I found out. Arizona, different from other states, and I only know the 2 states because I've only dealt with 2 judicial systems, right?
You know, Arizona is different than, you know, all the other states. You know, well, the states that I've dealt with, which is, you know, only one other state. So, you know, but it's different than all the other states that I've dealt with.
Has no intention of giving anybody a speedy trial, even though it's your constitutional federal right.
Damn straight,
Okay?
girl.
So what I am fighting for these women, I'm fighting for these women and trying to set a precedence here that you can't just leave these women in jail for years, because the conditions at the prison, if you do get convicted, are a million times better than they are at the jail. Jails are not designed. They're not all over the country. Jails are not designed to let you stay long term. The average person in jail goes 3 months.
You tell him, Lori. You tell him, Lori.
You're in there for 8 years. You've had teeth pulled out all over. You don't have any kind of thing that you need here. So I talked to my attorneys and said, I need to go. And they said, we can't do it. And I agreed with them, right? Because they said,
You know, with all my years, well, 2 years of trial experience, I agreed with them.
trial experience. You mean this?
I mean, being on trial is still experience.
Seraph agrees.
You know,
Do you
she
agree?
has more experience than, you know, somebody in law school. Real world experience.
She's got more experience as a bloody murderer.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really hoping I get into the actual courtroom and not just the overflow room.
we can
in your
watch
from their professional stand, they want to go to court prepared. Right?
course.
I'm a hairstylist. I used to charge tons and tons of money in Austin, Texas to do hair. So I'm not going to charge someone $400 to do their hair and let them walk out the door and not let it look good, because that's my reputation. So I talked to my attorneys. I said, I understand.
Look at her. She is a good businesswoman.
That's her reputation.
Damn
She's
straight
got
she
a good
cares.
reputation.
She cares about her reputation after all. Yeah.
Is that gallery?
Why is she
AAG?
crazy? What's crazy about her? She's making some good points about the conditions in jail.
And she's saying she's a good hairstylist. And look, the product speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet Tooth Fairy, I'm assuming by your name that you have some dental experience.
Maybe. But she's got a good collection.
Yes, that too. But you have to remember, many prisoners come in with meth mouth. Ooh, that's hard to say, meth mouth. So pulling may make sense for some. So like they'll treat cavities. Now, Sweet Tooth Fairy you are a dentist. Oh, very cool.
There we go.
Hopefully you're not like Charlie Adelson, but no. Now, is there a difference between like if you're in jail before trial and conviction, and like compared to like prison where you're already sentenced and you're kind of living the rest of your life?
She didn't say that she's a prison dentist.
Well, no, but she has experience with how that works, so
Okay.
maybe she does, maybe not.
Okay.
We can ask Charlie.
They're not going to give him veneers.
Well, no, we're not expecting veneers, but, like if you need a root canal, are they just going to pull the tooth?
I think so. I think if you
Yeah.
need a root canal, they're going to pull it.
And where you're coming from. I understand 100%. I don't want to put you in the position where you're saying, I can't do a good job for you. I can't do this for you in this amount of time. But I've been working on my case for 5 years. So I know my case better than an attorney can learn it in 2 years. But here,
She sounds like someone we know.
Okay, that is what I was going to say. That's why I paused it.
Yeah.
Easy going there, Franklin Ty Tucker. Did this happen in a treehouse, sweetie? How do you go up against a corrupt judge and a corrupt prosecutor? A lawyer can't fight that. But there's things they can't do that I can do. And who knows the case better than I do? Nobody
Yeah.
knows the case better than I
Nobody
do.
does. And the dirty tactics.
And they're all dirty judges.
They're all
But,
dirty.
maybe this new judge will be a breath of fresh air. Oh, no, he's
Maybe
dirty
you
too.
will. Oh, no, he wasn't. I'll never take a plea, by the way.
No,
Never.
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 Oh, that little bugger. I do like him, but oof,
That was funny.
that was fun.
here's the thing. When you waive your
a good
speedy
guy.
trial, then they can keep you here as long as they want. There are intelligent, strong, beautiful women in here that have been
I do agree that there are women in there.
I don't know about the beautiful. That's pushing it.
Intelligent, strong, beautiful. But, there are women, so.
Strong.
Sure.
probably
okay,
strong.
True.
been here for 8 years because of family tragedies. It's the same like my case. A family tragedy, not a crime.
Could happen to any of us.
Okay, I shouldn't be laughing because her 2 children were found in the backyard. I don't think, Dali, you're really quite aware of how they were found,
I'm not.
right? It was
Really.
like sacrificial. It was really.
Oh.
It was bad. Yeah, that was the worst crime scene. Yeah. Whoa. That was not a family tragedy. She is like her brother and Chad, they are crucial. Right? That's not a family tragedy. And there are like, I can't count on one hand the amount of family tragedies there have been.
Yeah. Just keeps happening to her family for some reason.
Oh yeah, weird that. And they
Yeah.
happen to get demons. They suddenly just get demons in them.
Well, that happens,
Oh, yeah. It's just a tragedy.
Yeah. Happened in The Exorcist. They maybe were playing with a Ouija board. Who knows?
Who knows?
Went to a rock concert,
Just. Does she still exist?
Yeah, she's
We exercised her.
speaking of demons.
Actually, I haven't seen Barbara.
No,
lately.
she responded to like 2 months ago to one of my videos or one of my court streams and said she's been really busy, but she'll be back soon. I haven't seen her.
Aw,
I miss that mutt.
those Luigi boards are scary. If only we could summon Luigi.
A family tragedy, and they're waiting and they're facing the death penalty for a family tragedy. I know these women. I talk to them every day. I try to uplift, strengthen, and help women in this jail, and I think that's the purpose why I'm here.
Can you define family?
Damn straight, girl. She's a champion of women's rights.
Family tragedy for me?
Yeah.
Obviously, you were convicted of killing your kids. Where does that
Wrongly
disconnect?
convicted.
You believe wrongly convicted.
Absolutely, 100%.
So
Okay. Hang on, I need to hear more. Why she say she's wrongly convicted?
then how do you address that?
I talk to them every day. I try to uplift, strengthen,
happened?
and help women in
I
this
went
jail,
back.
and I think that's the purpose why I'm here.
Can you define family tragedy for me?
Yeah.
Obviously, you were convicted of killing your kids. Where does that
Wrongly
disconnect?
convicted.
You believe wrongly convicted.
Absolutely, 100%.
So then how do you address that? You were convicted of it. They're not here. So what happened?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Aw. So this is one of the parts where her lawyer doesn't want her to answer her advisory counsel.
Damn.
She is somebody in Arizona, Yun. I don't know her, though. I just know the station.
To your point, you're not an attorney.
Correct.
You know your case, but you're not an attorney.
Correct.
How do you expect this is going to work for you next week and in these months to come, acting as your own lawyer?
I have help. I have a wonderful team that I got
Aw.
to hire, which is great. I have my paralegal, that's wonderful. I have my investigator. I have my advisory counsel that helps me. I'm just going to do the best that I can. That's all I can do.
Damn
I'm
straight,
trying
girl.
to help the women here. Like, something that happens in Arizona that didn't happen in Idaho, something that's different, is there they really respect your right to a speedy trial. And so I wouldn't waive my speedy trial, and they finally pushed it to trial. The judge does go over, and for any reason, they can move your speedy trial out, right? But here, the first time you go to court here,
Technically,
if
we
your
are.
attorney stands up for you and says,
Taxpayers.
"Oh, we're going to need more time because you were supposed to go in 4 months," right? You have a certain amount of time and you're supposed to go in 150 days. And if your attorney says that, it automatically waives your right to a speedy trial. So the women that are here and their attorneys say, "We're going to help you, we're going to put your case together, we're going to do all this stuff," they didn't know the first time that their speedy trial got waived, because they're like me. I mean, I was 46 years old when I got arrested. I've never been arrested before. I didn't know how the judicial
I'm sorry?
Hang on a minute. So she's saying then in Arizona, there are people who are not going into court and having the judge ask them flat out, "Do you waive your right to a speedy trial?" And that person is saying, "Yes, judge, I understand what that means." Right? That's what she's saying.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, she's kind of doing secondhand accounts of jailhouse gossip. I do think
Yeah.
that defendants maybe don't understand that perhaps it's not explained to them by their lawyers, that like their lawyer comes to them and is like, "Okay, we're going to trial in 6 or weeks or whatever. We need to postpone it a few months."
Of course.
Once you do that, you've waived your right to a speedy trial.
No. You get asked it because
Yeah.
AG's right. It's a standard question to a defendant, and it happens in court. It happens, the judge asks you, right? So, because you're waiving your constitutional right. You don't, it's not just a conversation between you and your attorney. Like, you have to, it's either a document that you sign or like an affidavit, or you go into court and the judge literally asks you, kind of like pleading guilty or pleading not guilty.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Like, you go in and you say, and he says to you, do you understand that you're waiving your right to a speedy trial? And you say, yes, Judge, I understand, and I'm not under any coercion and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So yeah, to make out like people are being hoodwinked into it seems a bit strange to me.
I mean, that's, of course, her understanding of what people in jail are telling her.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen plenty of hearings where defendants have been asked if they
Yeah.
want to waive their right to a speedy trial. So it's a pretty big deal to waive
Sure.
your right to a speedy trial. Like,
Yeah.
that means you're in jail for a lot longer.
Much,
A
yeah.
lot. Okay.
System worked. They're in the same boat. So they didn't actually know at the time that they were waiving their speedy trial right.
I've been in the courtroom for some of this, and then I've watched it as well. When you're addressing the judge and the state, you can get a little snappy with them, and I know you're upset with what you.
Well, I mean, you could just, she was kind of bitching would be a better term, but sure, we can just call it snappy. I mean, sure, she got a little snappy. As any good lawyer
Mavka asked
will.
if she was on the rag. That's Mavka.
You feel as witnesses that are being precluded from the trial. What's your biggest complaint? What do you want to see happen? And is that the tone that you want to take throughout this trial?
I don't think I'm trying to set a tone. That's not my intention, is to set a tone. And I'm not a fighter, okay? So my whole life, I've been a peacemaker. I'm a person that loves everybody, a person that gets along with everybody.
Wow. That's interesting.
And me, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover.
Yes. Lori is a lover, not a fighter.
A lover, not a fighter.
don't like to fight. So this is a challenge for me to even fight for myself, to fight for these women, to kind of stand up for the first time in my life, because I'm kind of been, I'm a people pleaser by nature. And it's been really
You're pleasing me right now, so there's that.
You need to hear the phone call they intercepted. I don't know if they intercepted it or whether or not. Yeah, it must have been an intercept. They intercepted this phone call of between Lori and Chad when they were searching the backyard in Idaho, and they were on the phone to one another, and they realized that they were about to find the children in the backyard, and they were like, "Oh no." They're searching, they're digging up the backyard. Don't worry, God is with us. Everything will be
nice.
fine. It was so creepy. It's like they were praying together because
Wow.
the police were digging up the backyard.
Well, it's nice to see that she has her faith.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing, but it was like it was so obvious that they knew that they were going to find them.
Okay. So you don't think she's like deluded herself that it didn't happen?
No,
Okay.
no, it was so incriminating. Like,
Oh.
yeah, no,
like,
no,
right-
but the two of them were like they knew what was going on.
Okay.
Like, they knew that they were about to get caught.
So like now though, like years later, do you think?
Oh,
like,
do you
when
think
she
that-
says she didn't do it?
No, well, she believes that, and this has been documented with her. She's actually spoken about this many times. That she believes that she did the right thing because the people that they killed, they didn't kill them. They passed them over into a better life, right?
Okay.
So those people were infested with demons and needed to be released.
Okay.
So, Dali, you're not quite aware of just how berserk this person
Okay.
is, right? So she truly believes that her daughter and her son and her ex-husband and a bunch of other people in her family and her ex her husband's
Yeah.
ex, they all had demons in them and they needed to be released and they did the right thing. Yeah. So they didn't murder anybody.
Okay.
They actually passed them over to the next life.
Yeah. So that's how
Yeah.
they justify it. So I guess, okay, so I guess they really, sounds like they truly believe that.
Truly, she really does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
They
tried
were
calling the
zombies, that's
guy-
right, half Irish. She called them zombies, that's right.
Try calling the guys from Supernatural. Well, I don't think Dean's a fan of guns right now after working on his last Western. Have you ever seen Supernatural?
No.
Oh, okay. The guy in it was co-starring in Rust next to Alec Baldwin.
Oh.
Yeah. So he could have been the one that shot Helena Hutchins.
Could it be?
Really difficult for me, but there's so many wrongs in the system. You know, there's certain things that your attorneys won't say for you because here's the problem. Your attorneys, they're professionals, right? So they're colleagues with the prosecutors, they're colleagues with the judges. And I get that because I've worked in a professional environment, so I get that. You know, you have to
You know, I'm colleagues, like, you know, with the bailiffs and the jail guards. You know, we're all colleagues. We all work together. Oh yeah, Jensen Ackles. Thank you.
Yeah.
The name was slipping.
Yeah, I remember.
be, you know, they argue their points and then they go out to lunch. Like, I get that, right?
I mean, she does have a point there. It is kind of weird to see. I mean, sometimes lawyers really kind of get pissed at each other, but then there's other times where you got defense attorneys and prosecutors like arguing, and then they just go to the cafeteria and eat lunch together. So, I mean, yeah, that's how it works, but from a defendant's point of view, I can see it being unsettling.
I think it's more unsettling for the judge to go and hang out with them.
Well, yeah, they just can't, yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm fighting for my life here, really.
Oh,
There's this notion from people in the public that
so she's fighting for her life. That's nice.
feel you're representing yourself because you have nothing to lose. That this is a challenge, kind of a show, a game for you. Do you agree with that?
I never hear any of this stuff because I'm in a room 23 hours a day and we don't have any access to any kind of news. So,
Duh.
or any kind of anything really. Like, so I didn't know that people were saying that, but I wouldn't agree with that, obviously.
What's your mindset going into trial? What do you believe now, and how do you feel as we're just a couple days away?
A little bit stressed.
Yeah, some weird guy named Dolly's probably going to be there, and yeah, it's a little stressful.
It's a big case.
It's a big case. It's stressful. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of legal things that have to be done. We're working on stuff.
Yes, the technical term for any last-minute motions or pleadings or filings in a criminal case right before you go to trial is called legal things. Just in case anybody wasn't sure.
Stuff every day. We're working late into the night. The biggest challenge.
We're working late into the night. Yeah, we're burning the wick at both ends, huh, sweetie?
For me in this trial will be the logistics. I want to be able to go and talk to the people who have stood up and lied about me. I get to face them face to face. I think that's important. So the hardest thing is here, they wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to court every single day. And you sit and you sit and you sit and you wait, but you're woken up.
I don't know what you're complaining about. I'm getting up at 3 a.m. to go to court to see you. I mean, come on now. It's not that bad.
And you're transported and you're getting back to the jail at like 5 and 6 o'clock at night. I'm going to have to prep for the next day for my witnesses. I'm going to have to meet with people. I'm going to have to.
Yeah, it's hard. David, do you ever have these kind of issues when you're working a trial? Can you relate?
Where's she
have my,
gonna get
you know,
to meet
paralegal's
with
going to come
people?
over.
I'm sorry?
Where's she going to get to meet with people?
Mostly her team does.
Right.
Because she's got a standby counsel, advisory counsel, a paralegal, naturally, and an investigator. So those three are helping her. She also got an expert, like 10 hours with an expert. Does she have a laptop? What's her prep like? She does have access to a computer. I don't know how much access, though. It is limited.
Judge Kranick needs to take a leaf out of this judge's book. Seriously. Like, he wouldn't even let Sarah Boone have a standby counsel,
Yeah.
right? This chick, she's got a paralegal, she's got counsel next to her.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
very
what's going
impressed.
on?
I'm also very impressed with the way her counsel has helped her with I mean, she's kind of, well, she is nutty, but they seem to have been working very well considering how prepared she seems up to this point. You know, I could eat my words soon, but she's very well spoken and prepared in court. The only interesting thing is if she takes the stand, she's going to have to prepare all the questions in advance.
That's fine. Like, so that he doesn't want her to do a narrative. That's okay.
Yeah, he doesn't want her to
So
be
she-
Robert Tellis.
Yeah.
Just
So he, or
Or Tucker.
or Ty Tucker.
I forgot he did that.
Yeah. It's funny, his name keeps coming up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's fair enough. So, but he's warning her in advance.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
she gets
Yeah,
to write
so
the questions.
she's prepared.
And she gets someone to ask for her.
Yeah.
So she gets to chat with the person beforehand who's going to ask all the questions. I mean,
Yeah.
this is pretty good. Sarah Boone, she got completely screwed over.
Yeah.
We're going to get paperwork ready. We're going to get, our stuff ready for the next day. So the hardest thing, it'll be lack of sleep. Nobody does good with lack of sleep.
Are you worried about
Yeah. When I'm just tired, I just want to kill somebody. Ah.
the legal things you don't know?
Obviously, there's lots of legal things that I don't know. I have been studying. I've been studying a lot the law. I've been studying it for 5 years. I've been talking with attorneys. I had a team of 11 people in Idaho, some really, really smart people. People were brought in over the country from different states and everything because I
love it. She's a learned scholar of the law.
She's actually a pretty smart lady,
I know.
apart from the whole, believing
Batshit
that
crazy.
people are
Yeah.
possessed by demons. She's written a bunch of books. She had a really successful, podcast and following. Like, people believed her.
Yeah. Well, and the scary thing is she knows normal people won't. The way she talks to people, like she understands that they might think she's crazy if she starts going into some of this stuff. Like with the
Yeah, so
detectives
she's not
in
going
Arizona.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's intelligent and rational enough to understand how to manipulate and
She's obviously a narcissist.
I mean,
I should only do that for super chats.
yeah.
It was a death penalty case. And so I learned from a lot of people, and I'm a smart person and I paid attention. I consider myself an intelligent person, like a lot of these other women here in this jail. And,
clearly.
we're trying to do the best that we can. I know it's not going to be perfect the way an attorney would do it. So that's when people say, like, she has nothing to lose. Like, I don't necessarily think that I'm going to do a better job than the attorneys can do. That's not my intention. My intention is to say the things that I would say for myself. I mean, I sat there during a whole trial and I discussed a lot of things with my attorneys and asked them to say very specific certain things that were important to me, just as a person, as a human being. These things are important that you say this for me, and they wouldn't say it. So, and I get the professionalism and I get what they're doing, but sometimes you just have to be able to do it for yourself.
You want to be your own voice.
Yeah.
Going over your case and all of it for years, I mean, it seemed like you had the life that so many wanted in Arizona. You had it all.
I loved our life here. Yeah.
It was, my life was perfect apart from, living in Arizona.
Which is shit.
Why are we here? Like, why are we at the place we're at now? You had that life.
Shitty genetics made me go nuts.
Why throw it away?
It's tragedy. Families have tragedies. Things happen, and there was a domino effect of tragedies in my life.
Things happen. And on
Some
9/11,
demons came along.
And on 9/11, some people did some bad things, it happens.
And that's
It was
really
perfect except for those damn
What do you
demons.
describe that domino effect of what?
It's probably something that we should save for next time.
Do you still believe in those things of the dark and the light spirits and the zombies? Is that still part of your belief system, or have you changed your beliefs?
She's not allowed to answer.
What? Oh, pooh.
I know.
See, that was a good question. See, I think this is why people are saying that she asked good questions.
Maybe. She didn't really
It's not a
like
puff
challenge.
piece. It's just she didn't get to answer.
Yeah.
Do you consider you and Chad still together?
Sure, of course.
And how was that going to work with you?
Oh boy. She answered that like, my last girlfriend did when I said if we're still together. She's like, oh yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you got nothing to worry about. Don't worry, babe.
He's on death row and you are in prison for life. How do you continue that relationship, that marriage?
Well, I guess Idaho's going to have to do in my place. He's on death row.
Answer the question.
In the best way that you can, the only way that you can.
What do you think people have wrong about you?
Pretty much everything.
Aw.
Like what?
Specifically, I don't really know what people think because I don't have access to the kind of media that you guys are watching all these things. I never get to watch anything. So I hear things from different people. I get text messages from people saying, oh, so-and-so said such and such. And I'm like, okay, I don't have access to what the people know. So I kind of can't clear it up because kind of don't know what it all is.
If you could clear something up right now, what would it be?
That I love everybody. That I'm here for a purpose. I think, God put me here in this jail, the worst jail in the country, they say, and I really can't argue it. But when I got here, the girls were like, did you know that you got brought to the worst jail in the country? And I was like, I can't argue that it's not. But he brought me here to help uplift and strengthen these women. And that's what I try to do every day. I'm a certified group fitness instructor, and I worked here at Fitness Works and taught aerobics. And so I teach a workout to the girls every day. We laugh together, we cry together, we pray together,
Yeah, it's a real eat, pray, love scenario you got going there, Lori.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's the sisterhood of the traveling plants. My God, girl.
Oh, we're all in our separate cells. We're in there 23 hours a day. So we just talk to each other through the cell doors, right? Like each of us get out an hour a day and we can talk to each other through the door. We have to take our shower and whatever. But this jail, some days you'll be in your cell for 3 days. They go on lockdown and you don't get out for 72 hours. You're just in your room. So, I'm here to help strengthen these other women. Sometimes God needs somebody to go into the trenches, and I think he put me here for that purpose.
A follow-up question.
Oh, say what you will about her. She's a glass half full kind of girl. I respect that. She's not a negative Nelly. She finds the good in a bad situation. Zach. $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I'm in a band called Tarp. We're a cover band. That's clever.
The cover band. I love you, Zach.
Oh, that's awesome.
Zach is so
Thank you.
funny.
Oh, thank you so much.
Into what you said, that you love everybody. Does that include your children?
Absolutely, I love my children. I've always loved my children. There's never been a question.
Why do you think I killed them?
Even being convicted of killing them?
Wrongly? Of course.
Do you plan to take the stand yourself in your own trial?
Haven't decided yet. Don't need to decide that. Legally, you don't have to decide, so we're going to see how it goes.
And that would be a situation if you did decide where your investigator or somebody would ask the questions to you on the stand?
Yes.
Okay. That was my understanding too. I just want to make sure I was correct on that as well.
Well, my understanding is that the advisory council would have to do that. Yeah. But I would have to write the questions. They can't ask me anything that I don't.
And you have to pre-submit those. You can't just go up there and say what you want.
Correct. That's my understanding.
That was my
of the law.
understanding. It was my understanding as well.
Of the law.
This is probably one of the more unprecedented situations. You were involved in choosing your own jury. As a non-attorney, what was that process like for you?
That was an interesting process. I mean, it went way better than I thought it was going to go. The process in Idaho is so different. It was interesting for me because it was so different. And I have had that experience, so I was like, I kind of know what's going to happen here. But in every
Oh, she's like a pro hoc vice. She's, licensed to practice in multiple jurisdictions at this point. She has reciprocity with Idaho now. Boy, that's good. So I wonder what she thinks of the jury.
Every state is different, right? Every county is different. Everyone's going to have their own rules of how they did it. I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised that the judge was very fair in doing the jury selection in some ways. So I think it went really well. It went really fast. I didn't expect that. I thought it would take a long time. So I feel like it went as well as it could go.
Are you nervous?
I mean, they're it's very male oriented, so that pleased me a lot. The trial starts Monday. Yeah, Yep, jury's been selected. Opening statements start at 10:30 Arizona time, so that's 1:30 Eastern. Well, actually, 2 It starts at 11 Arizona because there's a 30-minute delay. I'm gonna get there hoping to get one of the media spots. And
You taking the day off?
Yeah, from work. So I'm going to get there 7:30 when the court opens, first thing.
Cool.
And then there's chairs inside you can get to, but that's only after the court's opened. There's Yeah, 10 spots for the media, and like each organization is allowed one spot. And then if all those seats are taken, then there's like an extra 5 seats in the court overflow room. So then I can watch like the court camera from there, which I think will show like the whole courtroom. Or I could try to sneak in and maybe get one of the regular courtroom seats. But
Yeah, do that if you can.
yeah,
I doubt you'll get one of the media seats. There's only 10.
yeah. I mean, I'll get there first thing. Maybe I'll beat out what's her face?
I know there's some people camping out
Where?
outside
You
the
think there will
courtroom.
be?
I know there is.
Right now?
Like overnight.
No, yeah, did you see something about that or?
Yeah.
Okay, send me that.
Okay. But yeah, there. It's like Richard Allen, basically.
Really?
And Karen Reed. Yep. Yep. People are camping out.
Yeah, I applied to be media. They approved it and sent me all the information. So I'm hopeful. If there's people.
So yeah, you're streaming the openings.
Yeah, I'm going to stream the
statement, sorry.
opening on Monday,
Yeah.
regardless. If I get in or not, I'm really hoping I will. But yeah, I'm going to go to court and see if I can get in. If not, I'll just still go live with opening and talk about my experience and how crazy it was and everything. But I'm going to at least do the opening and then go from there. So that's
Yes, I shall not stream on Monday. I shall be on your channel.
awesome. Hey, Ronnie, how are you?
Nervous for
See
Monday?
how it goes. I try not to get nervous about things and go with the flow as much as possible. It's not just Monday. It's like, it's every day. It's going to be day after day. So I got to kind of pace myself and just do the best that I can.
Do you believe you can convince a jury, this jury, to find you not guilty?
I don't think I'm there to convince anybody. I think I'm there to just tell the truth.
Wouldn't that be your goal, though, as your defense attorney, to be found not guilty?
I think that's a goal. Yeah, that's the goal of everybody. But I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm defending myself against being wrongfully accused. So,
Wrongfully accused of Charles' death as well.
absolutely.
What do you want the jury to take away from you during this trial?
I don't know that they can take anything away. I mean, I don't really have an answer for that. I haven't really thought about it from that perspective.
Are you prepared for a life behind bars?
Sure.
How? What do you do to prepare that to be the rest of your life?
My life is mostly over because I'm 51 years old.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, so you know what they say, the 50 is the new 80, apparently with Lori. Good Lord, I take back what I said about you being...
Defeatist?
Yeah, I take back what I said about you being glass half full. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm a mother and a grandmother and
Then again, if she's planning on getting shanked tomorrow, it might be almost over.
Getting what?
all those things. I've had a wonderful...
Shanked?
What shanked?
You know what a shank is? A shiv?
An ankle?
No, it's a prison knife, like melted plastic or like a razor blade that's fashioned into a knife or a sharp edge they use in
Yeah.
jail or prison to stab each other.
You think that she's going to be stabbed tomorrow?
No, I was saying that if her life's almost over, she said, because she's 50. And I said maybe she'd be right if she got shanked
Right.
in jail. It was a
Okay.
joke.
She thinks that she's going to be like a goddess when she passes into the next life, you see. So she's quite looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Like-
she don't really want to talk about that because, you know, she doesn't want to appear crazy.
What's going on, guys?
Stop, Darlie. Did you guys see that? What happened there?
Are you kidding
What?
me? No, YouTube must have done that.
Huh.
I guess they... No, I wonder if it's the video that's the issue.
Yeah, it probably is.
Oh.
So did it
well,
stop?
Yeah. You did for 3 seconds. Screen went black and said you had violated policy. Huh. Well, I've just about finished it anyways, so. Sup?
No, you were talking, Dolly.
Oh.
What did he say?
About the shank? It could just be they go back a few seconds and then
Yeah,
yank
you'd think it would be a bit delayed.
Yeah. That's really annoying. But I'm pretty much all over, so.
We talk about pointy objects all the time, though.
I know.
Scott. Like, how often do I talk about the stabby objects on my co-worker stream? Like, I had that whole video with the K-bar knife.
Yeah.
I reckon it's the video.
Oh, well, I already did the whole thing, so.
Is that?
Suffer.
Yeah, well, we'll see though. See if you get a copyright strike. Although they tend to just, when that kind of thing happens, you just tend to get taken
Yeah.
down.
It wasn't like an actual strike.
Well. Yeah.
I've
it's
never,
weird.
yeah. So, yeah,
First time for
okay.
everything.
I was pausing it a ton. I was like
Doesn't matter.
pausing it a lot. But
He paused
anyways,
it so much.
I know.
I was about to say, stop it. I want to watch it.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to end now, guys. Are you doing anything tomorrow?
Me? Yeah, I think I might do a melody stream tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's been a while.
For sure.
It's been a while. It was you, Scott, you, and now I know why. I was singing my daughter that song while she was in the emergency department, and she threw something at me. Mom, stop it.
How's she doing?
She's doing good.
Good.
Well, and unless I'm singing that song, then she gets
Well.
really mad.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Sean?
Speaking of Borski, did you see that he covered the Jobs and Mitchell thing?
Who?
Kino Casino.
Oh, yeah.
They covered the whole,
Oh, did they?
the Jobs
Yeah.
versus, is it Mitchell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. It was Warski levels of pause.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
I need to go and watch it.
Yeah. Oh. They did a terrible job.
Okay. How much research does it really require? They're both idiots.
Well, that, but kind of a lot. All right, guys, I'm going to redirect y'all over to Sean. He goes in 45 minutes.
Okay.
So thanks, guys, for being here. Yeah, Monday morning, I'll be going to court. Hope to get in. We'll see. I don't know, but I'm going to try with the old college try. And then in the afternoon, I will do a opening statements.
Cool. Hey, is Sean going to cover it too?
Lori?
No. Mitchell and Jobst.
I don't know. What he's doing is Russell Greer's lawsuit.
Okay. I want to be there if he's doing Mitchell and Jobst because it's
Yeah.
my city. That was a Brisbane case.
Yes.
I want to
Right
be
next
there.
door to you.
Yeah. Anyway, cool.
Beautiful waterfall. I'm going to stream some of it at the minimum. So I just haven't really kind of decided everything I'm going to do yet because it's going to kind of depend if I can get into court It's going to be crazy. So I have no idea, but I'm going to do my best. So thanks, guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Godspeed.